welcome to day 17 of this advanced series. Today I will be talking about one of my friends and fellow card makers. Her name is Michelle Lupton. Michelle, I'm so sorry if this is not the right pronunciation. Well, you can find her blog at handmadebymichelle.blogspot.com, and you can also find a link on my blog. Last year I took part in one of the Clean and Simple online card classes, and when I saw one of Michelle's cards in the galleries, I fell in love. She used watercolors, and this is the card that will be inspiring me today, so I'll be using watercolors as well. I started out with some wet cardstock and used the Chill Out stamp set from the Alleyway Stamps. What you cannot see very well, I also drew a circle on that card, in the middle of the card. And I stamped some light bulbs just around the circle, on the inner side of the circle. I tried to have them in different ways before, but the card was not nice, so I did it again. And this is what I found out was the better way. I used my color pencils and just colored my light bulbs in randomly with some red, yellow, green and blue. And then I took a wet brush and then I just smeared the color around a bit to have the lights shining in that colors. And I wanted those colors to point to the center, so I used lots of water and just, made the color move a little bit to the center, towards the center. And this was what was inspired by Michelle. She used those hearts and had the color like a rainbow going in one direction, and I just took the colors and had them moving to the center, towards the center. Although I used a very light color, I think it was the soft sand from Hero Arts, to stamp those light bulbs, the ink was still shining through, so I went in with the pencils again to darken the light bulbs and to cover the ink of the stamping. And I found out that it was quite easier to use those pencils if they are wet, because they give lots of color if they are wet. And then I wanted to stamp a wreath with two green colors, the Colorbox Lime and Colorbox Chalk Ink in Ice Jade, I think. And I started to just go in and stamp some of those nice brush strokes from True Colors from the Alleyway Stamps. And then I found out it would be easier if I had covered the light bulbs with some masks, so I stamped them on some post-it tape, 3 of them, and then I adhered 3 of them down. So I had one area to stamp the wreath, and then I would go on and moving the masks to another area. So I used 2 different shapes of that stamp set and also 2 different colors just to have a nice wreath. Then I moved my masks around and I had the next area to stamp the wreath. I just stamped those brush strokes randomly to have a nice coverage in the wreath. And when I had done that, I just peeled off my masking. And I used a Pitt Artist pen in M to follow the lines of the bulb's tip, so to have some more contrast. And I had smeared some ink on my cardstock. I just used a white gel pen to cover that. That was the best way for me. And that all already looked nice, but I wanted to have some more contrast. So I used some glossy accents to really have the light bulb stand out, although it's a 1-layer card at that moment. And I also used my corner jumper to round the corners, because I'm not a fan of too classy or elegant cards. I want to have a fun card with lots of contrast. I added some stitching lines with a super fine Pitt Artist pen in XS. And that looked nice, but I wanted to have even more contrast, so I went in with an olive green aquarelle pencil, and I just added some strokes to the wreath with a dark green to have some more dimension in that wreath. The next step was to add a sentiment, and I wanted to have a piece of vellum to have a vellum banner, because I didn't want to cover too much of the nice wreath and the light bulbs and all the color that flows into the center of the card. And I used some very old American Crafts stickers. They were not as sticky, but yeah, as you can see, they are very old. I haven't used them for years. I have no idea what they are called. And I added the sentiment Mary. And then when I had done that, I decided I wanted to have it Be Merry. So I took out one of the sentiment sets from the Alleyway Stamps that is called Jibber Jabber. I love it a lot. There are lots of sentiments and single words, so you can find your own sentiment. And I just took the tiny B out of that set and stamped it with Memento Black ink on the vellum. I heat set that, and that was my banner. And because the stickers are so thick, it's no problem to adhere some dimension adhesive to the back of them. That was what I did, so I had some more dimension and contrast on that card. And I added that banner with dimension adhesive just to the center of the card and to the center of the wreath, and that finished the card for today. I hope you got inspired to take out your watercolors and play around a bit. Please hop over to Michelle's blog. It is so inspiring. I hope you had some fun, and I'll catch you tomorrow again. Bye bye!